Alright, non-resident train course, November 1996, Steelworker Volume 2, NAVEDTRA14251. Distribution Statement, approved for public release distribution unlimited. Chapter 4, Fiber Line. Starting with this chapter, we'll explore another major area of the steel worker's skill of erection. Assembly steel structures. Steel's work required a tool hoist maneuver the steel members into the place to erect. The structure of magnitude of these hoisting tools range from the uncompleted device such as tripods, gin poles, to more complex mechanisms such as cranes, motor-powered derricks. Whatever the case, one of the most important components of these hoisting mechanisms is a fiber line or wire rope that must be attached to hold the load to be hoisted and maneuvered. Before the steel worker can become skilled in the supervision of hoisting devices, you must first understand the use of the maintenance of the fiber line and wire rope. Fiber line. This chapter of the next is designed to familiarize with the different types of fiber line wire rope commonly used by steel workers, discuss knots, bends, hitches, clips, fittings, describe how they are used. Other topics discussed include the whole handling care of the fiber line wire rope, making splices in the fiber line, method of determining safe workloads, type of natural fiber lines. Vegetable fibers commonly used in the manufacture of the line included manila, sisa, hemp, and core, and cotton. Manila is the strongest fiber that comes from the leaf stems of the stalk of the abaca plant, which belongs to the banana family. The fibers vary length in 4 to 12 feet of the natural state. The quality of the fiber gives manila relatively high elasticity, strength, resistance to wear and deterioration. Good grade of manila is cream color and smooth, clean, and pliable. Poorer grades of manila are characterized as varying shades of brown. In many cases, the manufacturer treats the lines with chemicals to make it more mildew resistance, which increase the quality of the line. Manila is generally the standard item of the issue because of the quality relative to strength. Sicilla, the next best line making fiber is Sicilla. It's made of the two tropical plants, the Cicillina and the Henicune. The fiber is similar to Manila, but lighter in color, grown in the East Indies, Africa, Central America. Sicilia fibers are usually 26 to 40 inches long and are only 80% as strong as the Manila fibers. Still, the line withstands exposure to the seawater especially well. It's frequently used in towing, wiring, similar purposes. Hemp. Hemp is a tall plant, provides the useful fiber with a making line and cloth, cultivated in the United States, Russia, Italy, South America. Hemp was used extensively before the introduction of Manila. Throughout the Navy, the principal use for small staff, rat line, marine, and spun yarn. Since hemp absorbs tar much better than hard fibers, these fittings are invariably teared to the male, then water resistant. The term small stuff is used to describe small cordages that a layman may call string yarn or cords. Teared hemp has about 80% of the strength of the unteared hemp. Of these teared fittings, Mary line is standard item in issue. Coir line is a light line made of fiber with a coconut husk, light enough to float on water, resilient, roughened line. It's about 1/4 of the strength of hemp. Therefore, the use of the coir is restricted to small lines. Cotton line is a smooth white line that stands much bending. Running. Cotton is not widely used in the Navy except in some cases for small lines. Type of synthetic fiber lines. Although the natural fiber lines are normally used, the number of synthetic fibers are also used to make lines. Synthetic fibers to fabricate include the following: nylon, Kevlar, Orion, Dacron. On the type of the line, most be synthetic fibers. Even the one most of the primary benefit, even the nylon line, is by breaking tensile strength. The nylon is nearly 3 times that of the Manila line. An additional benefit of the nylon is that it's waterproof and the ability to resume normal length after being stretched and absorbing shock. It also resistant abrasion, rot, decay, and fungus growth. Fabrication of the line. Fabrication of the line essentially with a 3 twisting operation. First, the fibers are twisted into the right to form yarn. Second, the yarns are twisted to the left to form strands. Third, the line is twisted to the right to form line. Shows that how the fibers are grouped in the 3-strand line. So fabrication line 1-1 shows the strand, the yarns, and the fibers. So we go fibers, yarns, strands. 4-2 lay lines. This is a hay sewer laid line, shrouded laid line in the core, and cable laid line. The operation describes the name of the perceive of the product is known as the right laid line. In the process, sometimes reversed, you may have the known as the left laid line. In either instance, the principle of the opposite twist must also be observed. One reason for this is to keep the line tight and stable to prevent the elements from unlaying when a load is suspended on it. Another reason for the twisting elements of the line opposite the direction to prevent moisture and preparation. Type of the law lines. There are three type layers of the labor fiber line with which you should be familiar. There are Howard laid, laid, shroud laid, and cable laid lines. Each type shown in figure 4.2. Hauser laid line. Hauser laid line generally consists of three strands twisted together, usually in a right-hand direction. Your shrouded laid line, ordinarily shrouded line, is composed of four stranded strings twisted together in right-handed direction around the center stand. Or core. The core is usually same material, small in diameter than four strands. You'll find a shrouded laid line is more pliable, stronger than a Hauser laid line. You will also find a shrouded laid line has a stronger tendency to kink. In most instances, used in sheaves and drums, they are not only prevents kinking but also makes a pliable in strength. Alright, cable laid line. Cable laid line usually consists of three right-hand Hauser laid twists together with a left-hand direction. The type is especially useful with heavy construction work because of the since it's untwist, it will tighten any irregular right-hand screw connection to which it may be detached, hence there must provide an added safety feature. Size and designation of line. Size of the line larger than 1/3 of an inch, and the circumference generally designed in circumference of an inch is a 6-inch manila line. For instance, would be constructed manila fibers measuring 6 inches in circumference. Lines available to up to 16 inches in circumference, but 12 inches are normally used. Largest line carried in stock, and another larger is used only on special jobs. 4.3. Line 1 3/4 inch or less. Their circumference is small stuff. Size of it's called small stuff. Size is usually designed for the number of threads or yarns that make up each strand. They may be 6 to 24 thread small stuff. But the most common sizes are 9 to 21 threads. You may hear the small stuff designated with the name of the reference side. With the one type of is Mary line terry with a 2-strand left laid hemp. The Mary line is the small stuff you use for the most for seizing. When you need something stronger with a Mary line, use a terry 3-strand left laid hemp called the house line. Alright, shows the 4.3 shows the designation size line manila, usually common sense of circumference and entrance millimeters and nominal diameter. If you ever order the line, you may find that you have ordered it by diameter. The catalog may also term the rope rather than line. Rope yards are temporary seizing, whipping, bashing, or pull with large strands. Old line outlived the unfoldness. Pull your yard for metal away from the ends and will be followed. Handle and then care of the fiber line. If you expect a fiber line your work to give it a safe and dependable service, to make sure that the handle of the care for the properly procedure for the handle and the care of the fiber line as foul cleanliness is part of the care of the fiber line. Never drag a line over the ground, nor even rough, dirty surfaces. The line can easily pick up a sand grip that can work when the strands wear the fibers. If the line does get dirty, use water only to clean it. Do not use soap because it will take oil out of the line. To avoid pulling the line over sharp edges because the strands may break. When you have the sharp edges of the place chamfering the gears, such as the board, folded cardboard, canvas as part of the rubber tire between the line. Sharp edge to prevent damaging the line. Never cut a line unless you have to. When possible, always use knots that you can be untied easily. Fiber contract shrinks if it gets wet. If there's not enough slack in a wet line, permit shrinkage of the line. You're likely to overstrain, weaken. The taut line is exposed in rain dampness. Make sure the line will stay dry and slacken to allow the shrinkage. When nylon is properly handled, the maintain it should be fast more than 5 times long with the mineral subject for the same. Use the nylon as a little later, more flexible, less bulky, easier to handle. Store with the manila line. The nylon line is wet frozen. It loses little strength of additional nylon resistant mildew. Rotting attacked by marine borers. Nylon becomes slippery because of the grease. It should be clean. Light oils such as kerosene or diesel oil. Uncoiling a line. New line is coiled and bound wrapped in burlap. Protective covering should be removed from until the line to be used because it protects the line from during storage, prevents tangling. To open and remove the burlap wrapping, look inside of the coil for the end of the line. Then you should be at the bottom of the coil. If it is not, turn the coil over so that the end of it will be at the bottom. Pull the end of the line up through the center of the coil. As the line comes out through the coil, it will unwind counterclockwise direction. Uncoiling nylon line. Do not uncoil new nylon line by pulling the ends through the eye of the coil. Avoid coiling nylon in the same direction all the time. Avoid coiling nylon in the same direction all the time, or you could unbalance the lay. Making up the line. After the line has been removed from the manufacturer's coil, it may be made up that is prepared with the torch for use. The winding of the reel it may be made up with the cooling down, faking down, with the blemishing down. The coil down line simply means laying it. Circles roughly on one top of the other. Figure 4 or 5. Line should always be coiled in the same direction of the lay, clockwise right way lay and clockwise for the left lay. When the line has been coiled down, one end of it is ready to run off. This is end that went down last. So it shows the uncoiling of the new line. So you want to right lay the uncoil from the inside counterclockwise direction, uncoiling a new coil on the fiber rope. 4 or 5 says coiling down line after use, right lay rope coil in the clockwise direction. It's now on top. For some reason, the bottom end of it must go out first, which will have the turn and coil over the fripping free of its running. Whipping a line. When the term whipping refers to the process of securing the ends of the line, preventing strain with the unlaying with the yarn, separating with the fraying that will not increase the size of the line enough to prevent the fitting of the blocks, openings that which must pass, and whippings may be from fine twine. Figure 4-6 shows the steps to follow with apply whipping. Make a loop at the end of the twine. Place the loop at the end of the line as shown in the figure when standing part of the round line covering the loop of the whipping. Leave a small loop uncovered as shown. Pass the remainder over the standing end of the up through the small loop. Pull the dead end of the twine, pulling the small loop at the standing end backwards toward the end of the line underneath the whipping. Pull the dead end over the twine until the loop will standing enough that it reaches the point midway underneath the whipping. Trim both ends of the twine close up against the loops of the whipping. Before cutting the line, place 2 whippings on the line 1-2 inches apart. Make sure the cut between them whippings are shown figure 4-7. The procedure prevents the ends of the untwisting after they are cut. Alright, so you have a lay right along the rope. Lay a bite along the rope. Straight in the end. Straighten the end, start wiping here, and then dead end, last round transition. Pull the loop to the center. Pull the loop to the center and cut here. It looks like open and clarify the whipping line. Cutting a line between the whippings. Inspecting a line exterior, the appearance of the fiber line not always a good indication of internal condition. Line softening even the dampness, heavy load, fraying with a break and a broken strain, the dragging over the rough surface all contribute to the line with a weakening and a failure. Also, overline can also cover the part of heavy damaged material with equipment. A serious injury with a person can result. For this reason, the line should be inspected with careful at regular interval, determining whether they are safe for use. The interior of the line can be checked with the untwisting strand slightly. The line will be mildewed, gives off a musty odor. Broken strand yarns usually can be spotted immediately with a trained observer. You will want to plug carefully and ensure that there's no dirt or sawdust material inside the line. Percent of the dirt or in the foreign material indicates possible damage. Internal structure of the line after the central core should break away with the space of the upon examination curve that indicate that the line has been overloaded. Additional decree for the circumference useful. Assures line excessive strains have been applied to the line. For a thorough inspection of the line should be examined in several places. After all, one weak spot anywhere on the line makes the entire line weak. A final check of the line appears to be satisfactory in all aspects. Pull the couple of fibers from the line. Try to break them. Sound fibers should be strong, resistant in breakage. An inspection to disclose any unsatisfactory condition. Line is destroyed and to cut it into small pieces as soon as possible. Caution will prevent possibly the defecting line being used from hoisting purposes and save the small piece for the miscellaneous use of the job site. As the manila nylon line is measured by circumference of the nylon, a manila usually comes on a reel of 600 to 1200 feet depending on the size. Storing a line. When a fiber can be stored, certain precautions must be taken to safeguard the line against deterioration. Line should never be stored when wet. Always dry the line well before placing it in storage. After being used, line should be coiled down in clockwise direction, assuming the right hand lay. Should the line be kinked and except for the turns removed, the procedure known as through the footing and accomplished with the coiling of the line with during the counterclockwise and pulling the bottom of the end of the coil up and out of the middle of the coil. If the line is kinks, is free of kinks that leave the coil, make it up to the correct manner. The line is still kinked. Repeat the process before making the line of the storage. Where you store line, deserve carefully consideration. The line deteriorates rapidly, exposed with a prolonged dampness, therefore important of the storage area, the dry, unheated, well ventilated to permit proper air circulation. Place the line with the loose coils on the wood grating platform about 6 inches above the floor. Also hang the lines and loose coils on a wooden peg. Avoid continuous exposure to the line to the sunlight because the excessive sunlight can damage the line. Do not store a nylon in the trunk. Sunlight covered with tarpaulins. Primary precaution should never be exposed line acids, other chemicals, even stored in the room containing chemicals. Even fumes may serve to damage the line. Strengthening of a fiber line. Overloading lines pose a serious safety threat with a person likely to result in heavy losses throughout the damaged material of the equipment. To avoid overloading, you must know that the strength of the line of which you are working with involves 3 factors: braking strength, safe working load, and safety factor. Hard braking strength, it refers to the tension of the line will break apart with additional load that is applied. Braking strength with a various line with the evidence determined for the test may be defined with the manufacturer table. The evidence itself is provided with the information absence for the manufacturer table. The rule of thumb finding with the brake of the strength Manila is filed with the C squared 900 PS, the circumference of the inches, and brake strength in pounds. Circumference is squared and figures obtained with a multiplying 900 by the braking strength, which is 3 inches. For example, we'll get the brake strength with 8,100 pounds. This figure is fouls 3 times 3 times 900, 8,100 pounds. When the line is measured in centimeters, brake strength can be figured within kilograms. Same question used only with the constant being the change of 64.8. For the braking strength in kilograms is figured as 7.5 centimeters, 7.5 centimeters times 64.8, 3,644 kilograms. Braking strength of the Manila is higher than the strength of the equal size of the Sicilian line. This is because of the difference in strength of the 2 fiber. The fiber from the particular line is constructed with a definite bearing with the braking strength. Safe working load. Briefly, dividing the safe working load over the line load can be applied without causing damage of the line. Remember, the safe working load over the line considerably less for the braking strength with a wide variation of the difference between braking strength and safe working load necessary to allow for such factor with additional strain imposed on the line with the jerky movements, hoisting, bending, over sheathing, and pulling block. May not always be the chart available to tell with your safely working load particular size line, but unfortunately with the rule of thumb which you can determine the safe working load. Safe working load is C circumference squared by 150. So the safe working load is the safe work equals safe working load in pounds. The circumference of the C is equal to circumference line in inches. Determine the safe working load. Simply take with the circumference of the line square and then multiply it by 150. For example, the 3-inch line here is the rules work. 3 by 3 times 150, 1,350 pounds. Safe working load of 3 inches, 1,350 pounds. The metric system rule is safe working load circumference squared by 10.8. Safe working load in kilograms. C is equal to circumference of the line. It's similar. Centimeters, substitute with the equation of 3-inch line with a centimeter equivalent in 3 inches. 3 inches equal to 7.5 centimeters. Formula becomes 7.5 times 7.5 times 10.8, 607.5 kilograms. A safe working load of 7.5 centimeters circumference equal to 607.5 kilograms. Know that 10.8 metric consistent equivalent to 150 decimal system. If the line is in good shape, 30% of the quality of safe working load. If it's in bad shape, subtract 30% of the safe working load. If, for example, the given above a 3-inch, adding 30% of the 1,350 pounds would give it a safe working load 1,755 pounds. On the other hand, subtracting 30% from 1,350 pounds would leave you with a safe working load of 945 pounds. Remember, the strength of the line will decrease with age, youth, and exposure to heat, boiling water, sharp bends, especially the used line with any other factors affecting the strength should be given careful consideration. Proper adjustment made with the braking strength, safe working load capacity. Manufacturer line provided tables of showing the braking strength, safe working load capacity line. You'll find such tables useful for the work. However, you must remember that with the values given, the manufacturer tables apply with new line used in favorable conditions. For that reason, you must progressively reduce values given the manufacturer tables if the line and age deteriorates and with the use. Safety factor of the line ratio between the brake strength and the safe working. Usually, safety factor of 4 is acceptable, but not always. In the case of the other word, safety factor will vary depending on such things as the condition of the line, circumference of the which to be used. While the safety factor should never be less than 3, often the must be above 4 or possibly as high as 8 or 10 for the best average unfavorable conditions. Safety factors indicated below are usually unsuitable. Best condition, new line. 4, average condition line used but in good condition. 6, unfavorable conditions, frequently used lines such as running, rigging. 8, break strength of the nylon line. Breaking strength of the nylon is almost 3 times the minimal line side of the rule of thumb, and the breaking strength of the nylon is breaking strength is equal to the circumference squared times 240. The symbol of the rule is the same as of the fiber line, both of the English and metric system. Application formula for the breaking standard strength of the 2.5-inch nylon is both pounds and kilogram. Breaking strength is 2.5 squared times 2,400 or 15,000 pounds. Breaking strength is 6.35 squared times 172.8 is 6,967 kilograms. Note the constant metric system is 1,172.8 nylon cumulative span of the repeated strength of this point with the greatest effects. With the nylon line under the load, with the thin lines under normal safe with working loads, nylon will stretch about 1/3 over its length with a free tension of the return of the normal size. When nylon is stretched more than 40% likely to depart, the stretch is immediately recovered with a snapback sound like a pistol shot. Warning, a snapback with a nylon can be even deadly as a bullet. The feature is also true with the other types of line, but offer confidence in the strength of the nylon may lead one of the underestimated backlash, therefore ensure no one strand in the direction of the line pull with a heavy strain applied to the line. The critical point, the loading of the 40% of the extension line, for example, the 10-foot length of the nylon would stretch 14 feet under load. Should the stretch with the 40% of the line will be danger in parting. Nylon will hold load even though the considerable number of the strands are braided. Ordinary vibration and localized with maybe made satisfaction for the reuse, cutting away with the shafted section, splicing ends. Alright, knots and bends and hitches. The term knot is usually applied to any tie fastening form of the cord, rope, or line. In general sense, it includes the words bends and hitches. Line parts bend is used to fastening two lines together or fastening a line and ring or lope. A hitch is used to fasten a line around a timber or spar so it would hold the temporarily can be readily untied. Many times ties were strictly bends and have come to be known as knots, hence they will refer to them as knots in this discussion. Knots and bends and hitches made with the three fundamental elements of bite, loop, and a round turn. Observe figure 4 closely. You should experiment with no difficult in making three elements. Note that the free working end of the line is known as the running end. The remainder of the line is known as the standing part. Note a good knot is one that is tied rapidly with a fast for the pull tight, untiedly. In addition to the knots bend with the hitches described in the following paragraphs, you might have the needs for the other steel working when you understand how to make these covered chapter, you should find it fairly easy to learn procedure for the other types. Overhead knot. The overhead knot is considerably simplest of all knots to make. The knot it passes through the hose end line over the training part of the loop and then form and shows you what it looks like. Figure 4 and 9. The overhead knot is often used as part of another knot. At times it may also be used to keep the end of the line untwisting the form of the knot, a knob at the end of the line. So we have the running line. This is a whipping and running end, the underhand loop, a turn, a round turn, and a standing part. Elements of the knot, bends and hitches. Standing part, knot, a run down, round turn, underhand loop, running end, whipping. 4 and 9 show the overhead knot, overhand knot. The figure 8 knot. Figure 8 knot used the form of a large knot with a would be forming an overhead and end of the line. Figure 4 and 10. Figure 8 knot is used at the end of the line, prevent end from forming. Slip of the fastening loop at the end of the line. Make a figure 8 knot. Make the loop and then with the standing part of the bass with the running end around. With the standing part, make it back over the one side of the loop, down through the loop, and pull tight. A square knot. A square knot is also called the reef knot in the ideal section of the two types of lines if the same side of it together if they will not slip to tie square. Figure 410 shows a figure 8 type knot. And so we have or the square knot, also called the reef of the knot, the ideal selection of the two lines of the same side of it together will not slip. To tie a square knot, the first bringing the two ends of the lines together to make an overhand knot, then forming another overhand knot opposite direction shown. Note a good rule to follow: the square knot left over the right, over the left. When tying the square knot, make sure the two overhand knots are parallel. This means if the running end becomes parallel to the standing part of this open line, the knot fails to meet this test. You'll have tied what's known as a granny. A granny knot should never be used, unsafe because it will slip under strain. A true square knot, instead of slipping under strain, will only draw the tighter. A sheep snake. A sheep shank generally through the mealer means that shortening a line, but emergency can also be taken a load weep spot on the line. Take a sheep shank with 2 brights. So figure 11 that shows a square knot. So we have 2 overhand knots. Alright, let's read this. Sheep shank of the generally over the merely known as a shortening of the line by an emergency can also be with the load of the weak spot of the line to make a sheep shank form the 2 brights. View 1 with the half hitch, each with the both view, and 2 and 3 with the case using the sheep shank. Take a load of the weak spot. Make sure spots are part of the indicated arrow of the view 2 with the bow line. Bowline is especially useful when you have nearly temporary end of the line. It will neither slip nor jam and can be untied easily. The tie of bowline followed with the procedure shown in figure 413. French bowline, sometimes used with the left hoist injured person over the French bowline. It's used for the purpose of the 2 loops in which it's adjustable so even an unconscious person can be lifted safely, and one loop serves as the C for the person while the other loop goes around with the body under the person's arms. The weight of the person keeps the both tight when it prevents the person from falling. Procedure following make a French bowline shown in figure 414. So what we have here is a sheep shank. Alright, our Spanish bowline is useful for the reach over the especially substitute for the boatsman chair with the also made with a 2-fold groove to the line over the pipe with the other red around sling. Many of the prefer the Spanish bowline and French bowline because of the bites are slight or set and will not slip. Alright, figure 413 shows a bowline. Figure 414 shows a French bowline. Back and forth is from the bench over the 2 Spanish bowlines. Take with the bite, bend it away from the forming of 2 bites. Lap bite over the other view 2 with a new grasp. The 2 brighter bites, whether they cross 8 into the view 2 with the for this fold of the parts down in the toward forming 4 brights. View 3. Next bite size through bite E and bite D. Bright through bite F. View 4 complete design shown figure view 5. Running bowline is good not to use the situation when the cause the last of the form is not with the start of it because this start by making a bite with the overhand loop of the running end with now because of the path of the running end of the light line under around the standing part of there under one side of the loop. The next pass for the running end through the loop under and over the side of the bite and back through the loop figure view B. Figure 415 shows a Spanish bowline. Figure 416 shows a running bowline. 417 a Beckett bend, which is especially good not bending together 2 lines on unequal side of the type known as the Beckett bend. Simply procedure necessary instruction tying Beckett. Single and double shown in figure 417. Alright, a clove hitch when it comes to bending of a timber with anything the round, the nearly round, familiar clove hitch, ideal section show the other than this made. Clove hitch will not jam pull out, however the close hitch slack might work itself for the reason good idea with a half hitch end of the shown figure 419 view 1 half hitch never use the whole hitch. A second one all you have to do is 2 half hitches as shown figure 419 view 2. Scaffold hitch uses support at the end of the scaffold plank and single line to make the scaffold hitch lay the running end of the cross of the top around the plank and then up and over the sand. Alright, shows the clove hitch at the center of the rope, at the end of the rope. On a clove hitch, figure 18. Single half hitch, double half hitch, 419, 420. Scaffold hitch. Part view 20, bringing the double portion running in with the back of the plank. View 2, with the form of the bright opposite of the plank running end of the back across the top of the plank. View 3, until the pass to the bite and make a loop at the standing part. View 4, above the plank pass to the running end through the loop and around the standing part back through the loop. A barrel hitch can be used to lift the barrel. Other round part objects were either the horizontal or vertical position. Sling bore barrel hitch figure 421. Start with the bowing line along bite. Bring the line to the bottom of the bite over the side of the bite to complete with the hitch. Place for the 2 ears with the form of the end of the barrel. Sling the barrel vertically past the line under the bottom of the barrel. Bring it up and tight and top instead of the form of the overhand knot while maintaining single tension in the grasp of the two. Two parts of the overhand knot will pull them down over the side of the barrel. Final part last, so now you're going to make the bow line over the top of the barrel, figure 422 view B. So we have a overhand knot over the top of the barrel, and then we use a vertical barrel hitch. Splicing fiber line. When necessary, join lengths of line rather than knots should be used with the proper made short splice with the rate. Return 100% of the strength of the line will retain 50%. Splicing with the joining with the 2 separate lines also mean the retrace the unlaid strand of the line back with the own strand with the standing part of the line. For general type of splice with the fiber line are commonly used with the rigging work. They are the eye splices, short splice with the long splice, back splice. One whether you've learned how to make one type or the other should not be difficult. Alright, eye splice. Principle used for the eye splice to make the eye end of the line with the eye is used for the fastening the line with the ringing hook that can also be made with a thimble. The thimble with a good ring that may be set with the eye line prevent chafing the eyes in place. The estimated beginning 9% of the strongest life as itself to make an end any splice. Unlay, unswift the strand with the end of your line about 5 turns and splice the into the standing part of the line, tucking unlaid strands into the end of the strand part. Original round through the tucks below 2 more complete rounds enough for the ordinary eye splice. With the large lines, you must whip ends with the strands before the sharp that otherwise frazzles out and causes you the trouble. Large lines must also be seen with the point with the unlaying stop where you have the trouble of working with them. When a line up to about 2 inches that you can open the strands in, so standing apart with your fingers. With large lines you are a fit is a tapered point tool made by maple, hickory, or other hardwood. Figure 423 show the knack of working in a fit, making the eye splice. Laying your line along with the deck over the end of the right, bending it back over until the eye size as you want it. Shove the fade through the standing part with the right spot with the braid for the top strand. Shove the figure through the rope away as you with the right hand as to the hole of the line with your left, and take the raised strand with your others. Alright, figure 423 shows working with a fid. Hold strands before the finger thumb before you can pull out the fid. Left finger and thumb hold it up with the pull out the fid. Drop the fid about with the proper strand at the end of the tuck and it through the raised strand through the outboard towards you. And shown figure you first stand. It's round tucks that must be taken in proper order. You will come from the followed up. Some separate strand with the end of the hold them up. Shown figure 424 view A. Middle strands facing away with the tucks for a fist. First, be sure to keep the right hand strand with the view. 2 with the slice of the land will towards you with the tuck with the one next over the end strand that you just get tucked. Of the under of the strand just below with the view 3. Now strand with the whole thing you can see with the view floor, but now you have only one strand with the end of the left with the untucked one strand with the standing part, but it does not already have the strand under it. Be sure of the tacks. Tuck your last strand with the outboard towards you, shown view 5. First round of the tucks on the big shoe with the rest of the easy symbol of tucks is each strand with the end over it with the strand with the standing part with the now above on the next strand below the one until you have. So unlay it about 5 turns that in the whip from the loop desired size, past the middle strand into the stranding part of the desired size, past the top strand under the next strand, and then the next strand standing apart, and past the bottom strand under the last strand in the standing part, and tuck the 3 strands into the stranding part of the short splice. It's a short splice. Alright, tuck each strand twice more besides the original tuck. These 3 tucks each strand in all enough. In all is enough. Short splices of the end of the line are joined together at the end of the 2 different lines joined with a cut of the increase of the diameter of the line. Short different splices not used whenever the increase of the diameter of the line would affect the operation on purpose which may find. Short slice, especially used for making endless slice, for the use of the making strap slices when the slings and straps are placed in place over the line with the ends of the one end short place to splice together. When possible, short splice rather than long splice shall be used. The reason is short splice requires less line and can be fastened quicker than longer splice. In making short splice on both ends of the lines, a step of the turn figure 425 UA put with a temporary whipping on each for the loose strand, with the next step involved with the marrying ends together the bearing and the technique for the interlacing of the loose of the strands one line, loose strands of the other line. When this is completed properly, each loose strand should be between the 2 loose strands of the other line, while the strands in the manner of making over the tucks following the principle over one of the under one. One side of the splice car will be made with 3 tucks and the other will be made identically with the complete tucks as each. So we have uneven 7 turns at each for the rope places together. Each strand between 2 strands of the opposite end. Make the first tuck underneath near strand. Cross tuck each strand at near right angles. Divide each strand into the 2 parts and take the 2 more tucks with each half strand. Cut off the loose end with a roll on hard surface. Strand should be sufficient enough to shape both slices of view 3 with the forearm finishing touch with cut off the hose end with the rolling pound of the splice for the hard surface of the long splice. Long splice at the either end of the lines are joined together. The end of the 2 different lines are joined with the increase of the diameter of the line. Strength of the properly made with the long splice will equal that of the line itself. With the long splice, the ideal for joining 2 lines where the line will run over the pulleys of the black short splice of the line would not be serve proper purpose since for the diameter of the line at the point of splicing is larger than that of the remaining portion may not pass over the pulley of the black properly with the long space. Also neater in appearance of the short splice. To make a long splice on late ends with about 15 turn of the range of strands as shown in figure 427 of the view. Add 2 opposite strands begin unlaying one of the following under the immediately laying opposite strand of the tie over the left groove of the be sure that you true with the correct part of the strand of the opposite, but this is important to determine the correct pair. Try laying one of the tuck ends with the opposite standing line, the strand with the tucking end of the tends to push out, place with the correct opposing strand. In this proper placing one strand with the opposite tucking end, keep the close watch on the marriage black of the starting place, and the other loose tuck ends that allow too much freedom they will divorce themselves from original marriage. This creates quite a puzzle for the splicer due to the fact that the lines do not fit up correctly no matter which 2 strands are chosen. The splicer seems to end up with a stranger between the ends with the last tucking in with the 2 strands between them there if it is important to keep marriage intact when replacing. So we have unlaid 15 turns from each end and make a long splice. One strand with another, cut all of the remainder ends with the close up with the roll of the pound line with the tuck settled in tight. As soon as they have gone far enough, the first tucking in with the end of the left is overhand knot with the 2 tucks at the top of the tie that ends together. Procedure must be done in the correct direction. Ends of the must stay away from the standing part of the alongside. No selecting the 2 opposite strand with the form of the marriage in the same manner as before. Be careful to pick the 2 correct 2 strands. Proceed to unlay with the replace down tight as you did for the first pair of the time in the opposite direction. When the proper place is reached, time and knot view 3. You now have the 2 opposite strands which have nothing to do to make overhand knot. On the point is happens the standing strand and the running between them wrong choice and has been made choosing opposing strands pairs during one of the 2-step solution with bringing one over the others from the 2 backs. Read you with the correct pair with the completed splice should be look similar to the example shown in view 4. After 3 overhead knots have been correctly tied, starting with the tucking the loose ends of the over one under one twice each, cut off the remainder ends close up the roll and pound line so the tucks and settle in tight. When completed, splice will look like view 4. A back splice strands with the end of the line or splice back and then one strand with the slice or even to prevent line underlaying unraveling when arrangement enlargement end of the line is not objectionable. The back splice starts with the crown knot. The procedure making a back splice shown in figures 427 After you've hauled the crown down to the tight the half inch of the 3 strands, proceed to lay up the back splice that merely requires splicing the 3 loose strands back into the line, following the same principles as with the eye and short splice over the one and under the one. Because of the back splice, leave it a lump in the line. It should not be used when there is possibility with an enlarger end to hang up, as might become the case it were running through a hoisting block. So untwist 6 turns, start with a crown knot, tuck over one under the end, turn the rope and teach it until tuck each strand and trim the ends. Hard splicing nylon rope. Nylon can be hold the load even on when the many strands are braided. Normally, with abrasion, local line be restricted with the cutting away with the shaft section, splicing the end shafting, stretching does not necessarily affect the loading carrying ability of the nylon line. Splicing nylon line is similar to that of the manila. However, the friction tape to use is instead of the seizing stuff, the whipping of the strands of the line becomes smooth and elastic. Nylon requires at least 1 tuck more than does the manila for heavy loads, and back tuck should be taken with each strand. Chapter 5, Wire Rope.